ITV News can reveal that a record number of workers are in jobs which have no guarantee of regular hours, regular pay, or indeed any security. So-called zero-hours contracts take people off the unemployment register, but they allow businesses, many of them big names, to summon or send home staff, often those in the lowest paid of jobs, without warning. Our business editor Laura Koonsberg has our exclusive report.
No promises, no guarantees. Employers big and small with all the power. Workers perfectly legally at their beck and call. This employee's scared she'd lose her job if you knew her name. Some months she's had 15 shifts, sometimes only one, sometimes turning up to be sent home, but can't say no in case work is there.
Sometimes they'll ask you to wait around for an hour to see if there's any positions available. And if there aren't, there's nothing there, you just have to go home, and that's just a day's wage lost.
If you could get another job, would you leave this job?
Yeah, I would. Absolutely, because I need something more stable in my life, more permanent.
It's not just the odd worker here and there. The numbers on zero-hours contracts hit 200,000, a record at the end of last year, up from 161,000 the year before, more than double the 75,000 in 2005.
Hi Nicola, are you okay?
The practice has spread even to the most sensitive type of work.
Probably around about 20% of our employees, and the contracts really fit what we need for the business, and also what the person, what's most suitable for the person as well.
Care workers, shop and security staff, drivers, ambulance crew, even some employees in the House of Lords work this way, like it or not.
And people are being forced to take these jobs, but it's very unhealthy in the long term for the economy. I think it says that we're not valuing people, we're just looking at them as industrial fodder, we're not looking at them as individuals.
But in hard times, should we welcome flexibility rather than crying foul?
0 hours isn't all about the downside. Actually, the way that you could be saying is, this is keeping, 200,000 people in work who may not have been in work if it wasn't for these types of contracts.
The rise in these contracts could solve part of a puzzle, why employment's so high when the economy's stuck down low. But it's not just a theory, but the practice for thousands, the increasingly normal way to work.
Now, there is nothing illegal in the way these contracts operate, but what does their existence and the growth of them tell us, do you think, about the state of the economy?
Well, you're absolutely right. There is nothing wrong with offering zero-hours contracts, and it can really work for some people, particularly if they're highly skilled and they are actually able to pick and choose. But many others clearly feel they are getting a raw deal, and I think it does tell us a couple of quite important things about what's happened since the downturn. These contracts have been around for quite some time, but they're moving into new areas, and the rise in their use tells us, as we heard there, some employers really are trying to get costs down, and they are using this method as a way of doing that. And I think it tells us that the downturn has accelerated and probably embedded some changes that were already happening in the way we work. For some people, it's great. You can call it flexibility. You can say that if you've got an employer who trusts and respects you, it does give you more options and potentially even more control. But for some people, flexibility means vulnerability, and it means that work is a less constructive, less productive option for them, and somewhere so importantly in these economic times, somewhere where there's no guaranteed income, and that really matters for many households.
Laura, thank you.